worth bleeding for. And if it takes it, it's worth dying for the greatest country that this world has ever seen.
All right, what up, what up, America? Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome to the show the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Victor Marx. Yes. How's it going, brother?
Good.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not out in some random country out kicking indoors, saving women and children right now. You're taking a little bit of a holiday right now.
Yeah, technically we should have been.
Yeah.
And we arranged a schedule. Yeah, we're supposed to be in Iraq right now.
Wow. So before we get into the discussions today, this is going to sound really stupid to you. In a brief summary, for those people who don't know who you are and what you guys do, give us the spiel there. Who is Victor Marx?
The easiest way to say it is we set captives free in 3 areas: physically, by recover or rescue kids and women. And we've done it from ISIS to cartels to counter sex trafficking to pedophiles.
Wow.
Multiple countries, starting here in the U.S., but Middle East, Southeast Asia, at the border and south of. Second thing is we set captives free mentally and emotionally, because that's where most people live, right in their head.
Yep.
That's where some of the struggles are, right? And we use trauma relief. And with that, in the Middle East and beyond, we've helped close to 80,000 people now, women and children.
Wow.
And we still actually have a house in Iraq. And second last time me and my wife were in, we're 16 pumps there. We got a girl who had been held captive for 7 years. Her parents were killed. ISIS had made her a sex slave. And 48 hours after our boots were on the ground, boom, she was in our house. She had a broke nose and a broke back, but the biggest smile you ever seen. And I'm like, why are you smiling? She goes, I'm free.
Wow.
So, and then finally, the third one that both you and I are so passionate on is setting people free spiritually.
Yeah.
Because we know that's the greatest battle.
Absolutely.
Far beyond anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is a very simplistic way to put it, all the amazing things that you guys are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, this man right here is the real deal. Like you see all those terminal list TV shows and all this stuff. No, this guy is the real deal.
I've got great team members.
Oh man,
wow.
Dude, it is incredible what you guys are doing across all avenues of everything. I would love to talk to you about. Me and you both are here at Student Action Summit, and we are both now attached to Turning Point Faith.
Bam.
And I would love to talk to you about what got you to a point where you're like, you know what, I think this is something that I want to do. And then, I'd love to talk to you about what you're seeing in the church here in America, kind of see if it parallels what I see. Yeah. And so first of all, I mean, what made you say, you know what, I think this is something that I need to be a part of?
That's a great question. I met Charlie Kurt. We were speaking at an event together. One thing led to another. He was interested in dogs, and of course I've got we run 4 canines, Belgian Malinois or Dutchies, and we got him a dog, and then it grew from there to where I was with him at a university, Berkeley. We were flying home.
Right.
And I forget, he goes, could I sit by you?
Yeah.
I'm like, Charlie, it's your plane. Right here, brother.
Yeah.
And then he just started opening up about things, and he wanted someone he could talk to. And I guess I was the fit. So we've developed a really good friendship with he and his wife. And at that point, he was saying, hey, there's a need that we have. We'd love for you to be involved. And I knew that the church in America over the last 20 years have failed the youth. We didn't make leaders. We made good church kids, but we didn't make leaders.
Right.
You have to deal with assumptions or facts. And ministries deal a lot with assumptions.
Yeah.
Or impact points. Oh, we gave away 10,000 Bibles at a village in Africa, but it's in English.
They can't read it.
Yeah, they're going to use it to roll roll up cigarettes. So for
But that's real though. That's real, and nobody talks about that ever.
No, because there's the machine of ministry you don't touch,
Right.
Or else you're outcast. So when my wife and I, when we started our ministry, All Things Possible, it was 20 years ago, we started seeing the holes. We worked very hard to try to fix it by starting in the U.S., reaching kids who were incarcerated.
Yeah.
That was our passion, and we still do it. But we realized, wow, the church has failed to make leaders to where when they leave high school or the house and they go to college, they're fodder for the leftist agenda within months, 85%. So Charlie and Turning Point, he makes leaders.
Yep.
And he surrounds himself with really solid guys. You being one of them.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, brother, I appreciate you so much. And we're men of like passion.
Yeah.
We're
we put our foot in our mouth sometimes. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, I look at it like this. I tell people I never wore What Would Jesus Do? I actually had a bracelet, made hundreds of them, that I'd give out called WWPD, What Would Peter Do?
What would Peter do?
I said, I'm an earlopper, and so are you, right?
I love it. Yeah,
that is amazing. I need one of those.
So I'm glad you brought that up because very similarly, what got me involved in this was, I always knew that there were issues with, I call it the big C church, the infrastructure of church. And like many people, my childhood, I was raised very much, God was this bully.
Yeah.
You can never do anything right. You're going to hell always. Yeah. Backsliding all the time, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what's never good? When your nation's supposed authority on economic policy completely misses the flashing red lights of impending inflation. Now, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has finally admitted there have been unanticipated and large shocks to the economy that have boosted energy and food prices, and supply bottlenecks that affected our economy badly that I didn't at the time fully understand. Well, Janet, who did understand, that would be real Americans and the people who invested in gold and silver with Birch Gold Group. They're protecting your savings from a highly turbulent economy by diversifying their 401k or IRA into gold, physical gold. And it's not too late for you to take action now. Text the word Graham, that's GRAHAM, to 989898 and get a free info kit on diversifying and protecting your savings with precious metals. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, countless 5-star reviews, and thousands of satisfied customers. Text the word Graham, that's GRAHAM, to 989898 for a free, no obligation info kit now. And then, come to find out, everybody who taught me everything that I knew about Christianity just turned out to be lies. One of them turned out to be a homosexual pedophile.
Failure. Yep.
Yeah, kind of thing. And it just shook everything across what I believed, and I had to find my own relationship again with God as an adult and things like this. And then COVID happened and everything like that, and I realized, I think as Christians, a lot of us, and rightfully so, we all deal with this. I can't do that. Like, do you know who I am? Do you know what I've done?
Right.
Like, there's no way that I couldn't go speak in a church. Like, there's no, do you know how many mistakes I've made, kind of thing? But I started seeing all of these churches that were bowing down to what the government said. I saw all of these churches that were picking and choosing what woke agendas they wanted to talk about, which ones they didn't want to talk about.
Right.
We'll talk about it's a sin and you shouldn't be a racist, but then we won't address, homosexuality in the church and things like that.
Right.
And just more and more and more, it started to compound. And I found myself getting angry. And I think the Bible calls it like righteous anger, I guess.
There's a place for it.
And, and so I started to begin to think, God really started working something in my heart saying, Graham, you're supposed to go in there and you're supposed to tell them what you've seen and what you see that's going out there.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, I know you work with a lot of churches and I know that you've not worked with a lot of churches. What's the biggest issue you see in the churches right now?
That's a great question. You know who else asked me that?
Who?
David J. Harris.
Really? Okay, yeah, I
So,
love David. Yeah.
So David was like, "What is?" And I said, "It's fear.
Yeah.
It's fear to do the right thing because of lack of leadership."
Yeah.
And you know, the churches, many of the churches, I think today in Western America, who would expect Jesus to come triumphant, I think he would come and start thumping some tables over.
Yeah.
And shock a lot of them.
Yeah.
So this is where I started with pastors. I said, hey, you teach the word, you're a shepherd, great. Your men's ministry is so weak.
Yeah.
Would you find a leader, a man, to lead your men? And it doesn't mean it's you.
Yeah.
That may not be the lane you should run in. Start there.
Yeah.
And men are looking for leaders like yourself. How many men have done the deal, have made some sacrifices in the real world
Yep.
that should be speaking to men who live in the real world
Yeah.
versus this, well, the guy in the pulpit is who he should be like. When I speak, and I've had the privilege of speaking from little Billy churches to stadiums,
Yeah.
and I just go, the guy behind the pulpit is not the one you emulate.
You're right.
Choose, be inspired by some things, but it is Jesus.
Yep.
Follow
Yeah.
the man.
Absolutely.
Read his words and follow him. So I think there's a course correction happening right now by virtue of people being exposed. And I'll tell you something you don't know.
Okay.
I've been praying for you for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because I would look at you through social media
Okay.
and go, that hammerhead, this dude right here,
Oh, yeah.
God can use in unreal ways.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Longer than you can imagine.
Wow.
So I love what God has done in your heart, the passion. You'll thump a few tables over, but what you have to say is needed in the church. And that's why social media ticked off a lot of pastors. I had pastors call me and say, hey, man, you shouldn't be getting money because we have a nonprofit.
Right.
It should go through the church. And I should decide. I've had major pastors, I'm like, well, you know, it kind of sounds cultish to me. If
Yeah.
people want to give, then they can. And it's because of the lack of control. And COVID brought it all out. Where, do you remember pastors who would never touch social media? They had a daily little devotion.
Yeah.
They're coming on. I was laughing my head off. I go, okay, let's see how long this lasts.
Yeah.
And I said, guys, just be honest. You're scared to lose your tithers
Yeah.
because they're not in church. Just be honest.
Yeah.
I would be. I'd be like, hey, I need to connect with y'all because we have bills to pay on our building.
Yeah.
And people respect that more.
I agree. I've never heard anyone say, you know, I really wish that the church would never bring up the fact that electricity's not free.
Yeah.
And we're all in here, you know, not underneath the tent, sweating our you-know-what's off.
Yeah.
Because we're in a real building. There's actually people that make this happen. Like, I've never heard anyone that's like, man, I really wish they wouldn't tell us the truth about what it costs to run this place,
Totally.
you know, kind of thing. Nobody's ever said that, ever.
No, I've heard the gospel's free, but somebody's got to pay for the plumbing.
Yeah,
That's a good way to put it.
Exactly. And so, I mean, you know, we could all go pitch a tent out there and everybody could sweat to death and all
Right.
this stuff. But no, people want to be, and this is something what I'd love to get your perspective on, is the weak Christians here in America
Yeah.
that have no idea what it actually means to stand for Christ. Because we have our air conditioning rooms, we have our projection screens, we have our pyrotechnics, we have our bands, we have our I just got saved, text this number to so-and-so and so-and-so.
Right.
And all that really is a data collection scheme
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get
thanks.
people's stuff.
Say what it is.
But well, you know, I'm a marketer, right? So I know
Right,
what that is.
right.
So you have seen real Christians
Yeah.
that are in countries that they will kill them if they find out. Like explain to people how far we've fallen off the horse here.
I've held kids whose parents were killed for their faith. We've taken kids into our home because their parents were martyred for their faith. You know, there's a point where you see too much, you can never go back.
Right.
You know too much. And it takes a lot of self-deception to try to blend back into the system here in the U.S. I've never apologized for the blessing America's had. Church, business, life, never. I've never said, oh, that's horrible. It is a representation of a country that did put God first at one time.
Right.
His blessing. But all that can be taken away
Exactly.
so quick. And folks, you know, I mean, because of our relationship in the intelligence community, which is one of the reasons why we're still alive, there are cells here in the U.S. There are bad people that can make bad things happen very quickly.
Absolutely.
And if we're all just being honest, the reality is this administration and people in it want stuff to happen
Absolutely.
bad. So yeah, it's we as Christians in America need to be very grateful and thankful for what we have. And those who are lukewarm, remember, he says he'll throw you out. He'll throw you right up. So it's time to
vomit
get on
you
fire.
out of his mouth.
It's time to get on fire.
All right, we have recently had some huge wins for truth in the American family. It feels like the pendulum may be swinging back to that time of great American values, and the center of that change has to be the family, your family. Ronald Reagan once said, all great change in America starts at the dinner table. There's no company doing more to help you bring your family and friends to the table than Good Ranchers. Good Ranchers delivers a 100% American meat experience to your door. They guarantee you meat that is born, raised, and harvested here in the U.S. so that you know where it comes from and who you are supporting. You're already buying meat, so why not buy in the way that strengthens the American farm? Your country and taste buds will thank you. Not only that, I personally eat it all the time. It is a mainstay at my house, and we use it and eat it just about every single day. Make sure to use my code GRAHAM, that's GRAHAM, to get $30 off your order. Plus, get free express shipping. You can make gatherings at the table common again with Good Ranchers. Take advantage of this offer before it's gone. Go to goodranchers.com/Graham to start bringing people to the table, creating change in America, and eating seriously delicious food from Good Ranchers. So, what is, say that there's a listener right now and they are going to those 99% of churches that they are, you know, I call it woke Christianity.
Yeah.
They are cherry picking the verses out of the Bible that, you know, if you love Jesus, everything's going to be fine and you know, it's going to be great. And they never address the actual real hard issues.
Sin.
Sin. Exactly.
Yeah.
What do those Christians need to do? Like, what if there's someone who legitimately, like, there's not a church that's doing the right thing where they are?
Well, I'd say this. One, if they're going to a church that's compromised, they need to have the integrity to go directly to the pastor and say, we feel like you've compromised the message from the pulpit, therefore change or we will leave.
Yeah.
Because it's not a healthy environment. Like, be honest with them.
Yeah.
If they don't change, leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, because of the technology, find a church online.
Yeah.
Find somebody you can be fed by. Because I'll tell you something, as much as we don't want to forsake the fellowshipping, the gathering of believers, people ask us, well, what church y'all go to? I said, we have a church, but we travel so much. We spend time with the Lord daily.
Right.
I mean, in the last 2 weeks, I've gone through the Gospels and Acts. I listen because the banged up head.
Oh, I can't. I can't. I'm an Audible guy myself.
Like I just and I, you know, when I get on my tractor, I'll Forrest Gump it and ride and listen. But I'll tell, there's no excuse for being fed by solid people teaching the Word of God online.
Yep.
There's an app called pray.com. We're on there. I've got my podcast on there. We just crossed 80,000 subscribers already.
Wow.
Because they want to listen. And but the other thing is pray and ask the Lord, show us where we should go. And there'll never be a perfect church.
Yeah.
If there was, I'd ruin it by stepping into it.
Me too. Yeah.
It'd be like, wow, we had a good thing going.
Yeah,
Thanks here.
it would be over as soon as they said,
Yeah.
Graham, what do you think?
Yeah.
And as soon as I said it, they'd be like, ah.
But yeah, my wife's a great example. 2 things she does every morning that blows me away. 1, she brings me coffee in bed.
Oh, wow. Where is Alyssa?
Yeah.
Where is Alyssa?
I'll cut this clip out and send it
There
to her
you go.
for
Send that to her. Yeah.
And the second thing is, after she serves coffee, she goes into the living room and she gets in the Word.
Wow.
She lets nothing keep her from it. That's the only way she can survive me and what we do. She has to spend time with the Father.
I think it's so amazing. So to the men and women that are wanting, they see the same things that we see.
Yeah.
They see what's going on. They see that the only way that this country makes it, well, in the end, this country doesn't make it, but the only way this country sustains a little longer. Yeah. Well, we're trying to get the extended cut here, people. You know,
How long do you think we have?
I don't know. I think my concern is, I mean, how long do I think America has?
Yeah. The reprieve.
If we don't do something quick, I think by my grandchildren, we could be in some serious trouble.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I think. And
I'm going to agree with you.
I think it's much closer than people realize if we do not drastically fix something immediately.
Folks, think about this. What the Bible says, when they start calling good evil and evil good, we're in the end days. It's happening right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And unless there's a course correction that I believe needs to happen through elections by putting leaders, the right leaders in the right positions, God will, I don't go as far as saying his wrath will come down on this country, but I say this, he will allow the natural consequences.
Take his hand off. Take his hand off.
Like he did with, Old Testament. You want a king? You want an ungodly king? Have at it.
Yeah.
Watch what happens.
Yeah, watch what happens.
They ruined themselves.
All right, people, let's be honest. AT&T, Verizon, they all suck. Yes, I said it. They suck. They're godless, soulless degenerates that contribute your hard-earned money to things that you don't support, like abortion, anti-gun rights, etc. These people do not care about you or your values, so stop giving them your money. Stop paying greedy wireless companies. Instead, support my guys at Pure Talk, a company whose customer service is based in Georgia, literally 2 hours down the road from us here at the Dear America Studios, a company whose CEO was a U.S. veteran, and a company who shares your values. Go to puretalk.com, select a plan, and enter the promo code GRAHAM and save 50% off your first month. Yes, 50. I said 50% off your first month. You can literally be switched over to Pure Talk services in less than 10 minutes. So, what are you waiting for? Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Graham. That's puretalk.com, promo code Graham now. Yeah. And I agree. And that's why I'm so passionate about engaging and empowering the church. And when I say the church, I'm talking about the people in the church, which actually is the church, right? Engaging and empowering them. 73% it said of churchgoers don't vote.
Right.
73% of the people who have the easiest way to identify what absolute truth actually is, the Word of God, right? They don't vote. And we have to affect the soul of this country by engaging the people that actually have a moral compass.
So here's the question. Why not?
That's a very good question.
Right, you think about it, how many Christians that are self-identify as Christians actually don't believe the Word of God or don't read it? Therefore, you're going to have this fruit of irresponsibility, poor citizenship, and a carnal life.
Yeah.
And this is what I've said over the last couple of years. I'm not sure people who identify as Christians are willing to make the sacrifice for change.
Oh, now that I absolutely agree. I mean,
if they're paying Netflix to pipe in stuff, or they're still showing their kids Disney, it's like, live your faith out by what you spend your money on.
Yeah.
And that's gonna, I heard a lot of times your checkbook, or I guess it's debit card these days.
Yeah, your bank transactions.
Yeah, will identify what you really believe.
Yeah, no,
that's so true.
I agree, and I think that people like yourself, obviously, you've been doing it for forever, and you've been such an inspiration to people like me.
Thank you.
That are trying to adjust course a little bit. I think me and you offline, we had a conversation, and I just said same job, different department.
Yes.
Right. And basically going just sounding the alarms of, people don't like the words prophets these days,
right.
but back in the day, Elijah and all these people, they were people of warning. They weren't make you feel good kind of people. They were like, hey, I don't know if you're paying attention to what's fixing to happen here, but this whole thing's fixing to come apart. And they, it was a warning. Like prophets back in the Bible were warners.
And they did crazy things.
Yes, exactly.
One of them laid naked sideways. Is that where you're going?
Well, okay. I wasn't going to bring that up, but you're right.
We're not recording a podcast like that. No.
My wife is the one that loves Old Testament. She's like, hey, I just read how this Deborah just stabbed this guy right now. Used a tent peg, and I'm like, babe, you like all that final stuff? She goes, it's real.
I'm telling you. Well, but that's the thing. And we were talking about David and Goliath over there. We talk about the romanticizing of the Bible. Yeah. And it's just this sweet story of how God is so great and everything. And then they leave out, like you said, the fact that David, after he knocked him out, went over there and cut his head off and held it up in front of everybody, like just ligaments and everything, like just hanging
And it wasn't one chop.
Yeah, it was.
You're not going to go through a neck that big.
No, man. Yeah. And so we need warriors, and I'm so glad that people like you are out there doing the right things. And I saw Zach give me the time thing on there. Where can people go to see what you guys are doing? Where can they go to support you guys in your efforts?
Thank you. The easiest place is Victor Marx. Victor, VICTOR MARX, VictorMarx.com. That's our website. It's loaded with everything. We're on all social media platforms. We'd love people to follow us, and we give updates. I mean, just this week, we've been hunting a bad guy, caught him.
Wow.
He hurt his
feelings.
You can
say it. Smoked him.
Yeah,
you can say
it. Different countries, different rules.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, and then we hunt people here in the U.S., people will be encouraged. Last story real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
My wife, guys like us, we full throttle.
Yeah.
So she's looking at me going, babe, you need to unplug your phone and you need to rest. So she made bed real nice, neat. I took a shower, got in bed, and I'm just gonna regroup. She comes in bed. I'm starting to doze off, and I hear thump. And I turned and looked. I jumped up. My adrenaline kicked in. She had grabbed on the ground a blow dart gun, put a pin, and shot a dart across the room at a head-sized target. And I looked at her before I could say anything. She put another one in and goes, and then she's shooting these pretty impressive groupings.
Yeah.
And I just said, what are you doing? Well, she goes, I'm training.
I'm training.
And I didn't know whether to be scared or turned on or a combination of the both. I'm like, my wife's part Sparta. And I knew what she meant because we had just come back from a country where pedophiles are so brazen, they will just grab kids in pure daylight. And then as a part, so she's, we insert risk, and who knows, maybe some of them are going to get their feelings hurt. But we need women to stand up with and for their men, because you and I both know we'll swim oceans, climb mountains, slay dragons with our wives behind us saying, I believe you. I believe in you, and you can do it. And the greatest thing, if there's women listening, the greatest way my wife has ever helped me through a little slap on the nose when I'm out of control, she simply says this: lead me better than that, honey. You can lead me better than that.
That's really good.
That's
really
all
good.
I need to hear.
What a great way to end it on. Victor, thank you so much, sir. We love everything that you do. We appreciate it. I'm excited to continue to work with you in the future through Turning Point Faith, and I'm excited to see what God's going to do
this is just
in both our lives. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Dear America podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to check out Victor Marx and everything he's doing. Hit that subscribe button. Tell everybody about it. Tell all your friends. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you all again next time.